Good afternoon, First Presbyterian Church family. Hope this finds you well on Thursday, August 19th. As I mentioned last week, during this block of time, I'll be offering some thoughts on Thursdays. And there will be, I think, some more flexibility in my pattern in this study time. But our study topic over this block will be the book of Galatians. Cannot promise it every week, but because we may do look at something else, but that will be the book that we'll examine. So today I want to start with, who are the Galatians? To whom is this book written? Because Galatians can mean one of two things. Galatia is a region in modern-day Turkey, and Paul went through it on his first and his second missionary journey. Imagine Turkey as a long rectangle, and you're pretty much in the middle, maybe a little bit more towards the western end, but still very much west central, southwest central Turkey. If you imagine Turkey again is that rectangle, and imagine a rectangle within that rectangle, that south central corner, maybe they give a region, was an area of Turkey that was known as the province of Galatia. It was that and the area just above it. So the southwest and western. And then imagine there's also a northwest, but we don't include that. So a west and a southwest section of that inner triangle. That was the province of Galatia. And that included that southern portion. The northern part of that, so again, imagine that rectangle within the rectangle and 1, 2, 3 blocks on the western side. That middle block was more the ethnic area of Galatia. Paul went through both. That's the point, is that Paul went through both. The southern part, which was officially the province of Galatia, and the cities of Iconium, Lystra, and Derbe that he visited. And then the second journey, he went through the northern part. The northern part of that province was also the ethnic region of Galatia, and that's simply a group of Celts. The Gaul, think of Gaul, France. Okay, so ethnically related to the Gauls, the Celts of Britain. I mean, the family tree is pretty broad, and so they've been kind of way back. But that's part of that ethnic group had migrated and had settled in that area. This debate back and forth, was Paul writing to the southern church, the southern cities after his first missionary journey, or to the northern cities that he visited after number 2? And debate back and forth. It seems it's mainly going to number the view that was to the southern Galatia. And why is that important? Because this would make Galatians, for sure, the first letter that Paul wrote. Christianity is being spread to the Gentile population. This is the first missionary journey, and he is taking it out. So this gives us some fresh eyes as what were the first concerns faced by the early church outside of that core region of first Jerusalem and then going up to Antioch, but that eastern Mediterranean region. It's spreading out. And so these are the first issues that are being raised. What were those first 3 cities along there, those famous cities along there? One was called Iconium in Scripture. It is now the modern-day city of Konya. It's the 7th largest city in Turkey, 2.2 million people, and an industrial city. It's been settled since the 2000s BC. Remember, the numbers go backwards, so you've got like 0 or year 1 to 1000 BC, 1000 to 2000, 2000 to 3000. It's in that 2000 to 3000 BC zone. It has been settled all the way back to then. It is probably was the largest of those 3 cities, the most prominent. Again, this is a well-settled area, many ethnic groups living there, and little pockets here and there. This is a city that's connected by the Roman road system, and industrial town of the time. Not one of your glamour towns, not a bad town either, but just another big-sized city along the way. And when Paul spoke there, there was division between the Jews and the non-Jews who were worshiping in the synagogue. As I've said before, it's the God-fearers, the Gentiles who worshiped God, truly worshiped God, prayed to God, listened to the Scriptures, sung the Psalms, but had not been fully identified. The men had not through circumcision. And so they had their separate sections. And I imagine like in our sanctuary, if you could imagine one side God-fearers, one side the inside group, in this case the Jews, you could be sitting on the front row. I think of it like that. Could possibly even be sitting on the front row, but on what side? There may have been front side, back side, but again, two different sections. And that division created, and some people wanted to stone Paul and Barnabas who were on that journey, and so they moved on. They moved on to Lystra. It was probably more of a village. There's some references to the place, much smaller community. Really not a suburb, too far out to be a suburb, but it's a community influenced by the bigger city. You can, examples come to your mind of a larger town. I think of, in my case, growing up in Charlotte, North Carolina, Gastonia was another county. And I'm sure that some folks lived in Gaston County even when I was a child and drove over into Charlotte, much more so these days. But Gastonia had its own thing going. It's in a mill town. I have a lot of mills there and a lot of communities in Gaston County. And so, but it's influenced. And so I think of it like that, though a little bit smaller than Gastonia compared to Charlotte. That is the home, believe that, or the following town, Derbe, was the home to Timothy. Lystra was interesting, and the Jewish population was so small. How small was it? It was so small they could not have a synagogue. You had to have at least 10 men, Jewish men, to form a synagogue. So there are 9 or fewer Jewish families in that community. And so this is the first place where Paul speaks. He just has to speak openly. Because he always went first to the synagogue. The idea of the good news is first for the Jew, then to the Greek, which by that meant non-Jews. And that's not there. And so also it's the first place to preach without the common ground of Judaism or among the people. There may have been some Jewish people there. Timothy is the son of a Jewish mother, but his father is Greek. And so he may have been very typical. There might have been just a few Greek women and one or two Jewish women and a few Jewish men, and there's some mixed marriages there. But anyway, first place. So in a way, we got that glimpse of taking Christianity, the good news of Jesus Christ, out from that part of the Eastern Mediterranean. It's already gone to Africa. It's spreading it now into Asia. We haven't even reached Europe yet. But other than Jewish people who would have heard at Pentecost, but it's really not been that big push into Europe. But now going to the area where there's not even the common base of Judaism, a large base there. And so that's kind of a preview of coming attractions. They are stoned there and actually left for dead. Paul heals a man, and the locals want to make him think he's Zeus, and Barnabas is Hermes, and they want to do sacrifices, and Paul's like, oh, we don't do that. And they stone them and turn around and stone them, leave them for dead. But then he gets up and walks away. You've been hit by stones. You fall down, yet you get up and you walk away. Something miraculous happened, and they just kind of let them. After that, they let them. Derbe's the third place. And it is the community where, from the get-go, people accepted and there were no issues. That's kind of a distinctive there. Those two, there are villages that have names similar to these towns' names today in that general area, but there's no ongoing community like it is with Iconium, which is now called Konya. This is the place to which it went. This reminds us, again, this letter is written to real people living in real places, real settings. And this is on the front end of bringing the good news in the first missionary journey. It has spread to Asia, through Africa, through some individual means, It's the first organized reaching out of that good news. Our takeaways from this is note the reactions of some accept and some reject, to some misunderstand, to some fully take it in. Basic reactions that you'll get even today. We have the earliest concerns, because the issue that Paul will be addressing is it only Jesus or Jesus and? This is, again, and does one have to become first Jewish and then to become Christian, or can you go straight to Jesus? That's one of the early issues that with which the church wrestled. And later, not this week, but later, we will be getting glimpses into the life of Paul. This is the most autobiographical of the letters. Just opening the way into this book, and so this is just setting the stage for us. August, traditionally, I think of course, it is a summer month, and I think of it as just the most summer of months. There are no major holidays that take place. We got Labor Day in September. We had 4th of July in the beginning of July. There are no holidays in this month. And traditionally, it was, of course, hot, at least in our part of the world. And if nothing else, the most summer of the months. And in fact, in Europe, many of them will take off as much. If anyone who can takes off August and gets away for the month-long vacations that they get, or use 4 of their 6 weeks, they take all 4 in August, as a very relaxed month. Of course, these days in our calendar, and I've said this last week, it's really become a suburb of September. It is that month where you have the last fling of the summer break and the beginnings of the school year. And it's a transitioning month. I encourage you to make the most, though, of this month as a summer month. Think of it, well, it is the end of summer, and think of it that first. It's the end of summer, and summer is a gift. And what can we do to enjoy these last weeks, even if we are going to school during the day, or our morning routine is going to work, is getting kids ready for school. Definitely it's a shift. What are we doing? How are we making the most of this? God is faithful through our seasons, and I looked for seasonal hymns, and here one that is very familiar that references the season of summer. Summer and winter, springtime and harvest, sun, moon, and stars in their courses above, join with all nature in manifold witness to thy great faithfulness, mercy, and love. Great is thy faithfulness, great is thy faithfulness. Morning by morning, new mercies I see. All I have needed, thy hand hath provided. Great is thy faithfulness, Lord, unto me. In the seasons, God is faithful. Even in this last block of the summer, as well as these early glimpses of the fall, in this own golden season of August, God is faithful. So let me close with this summer prayer that I came across some months ago. Jesus, thank you for summer. Thank you for light and warmth. Thank you for the sun. Thank you for the gifts of nature and for the annual cycles and seasons. Today, give us that grace again to see you as the Creator, the one who lifts us up to be with you forever, even now. Amen. And have a great weekend.